Kigali Convention Center will host the conference session, industry panels, and networking opportunities. Those are events that are taking place between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. The second part will be at the Mundi Center. The Mundi Center will come alive with vibrant live music showcases from across the continent on the 15th and 16th of November, from 6 p.m. until late. Additionally, the 16th of November will feature music workshop and masterclasses aimed at empowering artists and music professionals. So this year's event was made possible through the partnership with the government of Rwanda. So at this point, I would like to invite our esteemed panelists to share a few words of this historic moment for Rwanda and the music industry. This is not only a significant milestone for our industry, but also a crucial step for the African music business on the continent. For the first time in Rwanda, we'll host a full 3-day event entirely dedicated to the music and the business of music. It's marking a new chapter in our cultural and creative industries. So I will begin with Honorable Minister Sandrine Umutoni to give a perspective on the impact and importance of Access 2024 for Rwanda and beyond.
Hanze. Mwakoze kwitabira iyi nama. So good morning to everyone. Warm welcome to Rwanda. Uncle Austin, thank you for being with us. And Eric, thank you for that question. So for the Ministry of Youth and Arts, it is an honor to partner with Music in Africa Foundation in the organization of the Access event that's scheduled for next month. The reason why it's important for our ministry to take part in this type of activities is that it speaks directly to our mandate. Our mandate is to promote youth and promote the arts development. So to be able to host, as the government of Rwanda, an activity like this that calls on all Pan-Africanists, all musicians, business people behind the music industry to come to meet in Kigali, to discover the local talents and invite international artists to also join us so there could be more networking, more exchanges of experience and expertise, directly speaks again to our mandate. So it is very important for us to be able to have this type of activities. We are calling on as many people as possible to join us for those 3 days of intense focus on what music brings to our community, what music brings to our economy, because at the end of the day, this is about the creative economy. And if we speak of creative economy, we're talking about sustainable development of the entire economy of a country. So once again, thank you to Eddie for selecting on behalf of the Music in Africa Foundation, a partner at government level for hosting this activity, and again to the media for coming to join us today. Thank you.
I'm going to have a quick little word because this is the thing that we have to do when we're dealing live. Technician, could you have like a microphone on the table for each? I was told there was like 3 microphones. There's only one. Go across the room. So thank you, Minister Sandrine, for those insights. I would love at this time to hear finally from the Executive Director of the Music in Africa Foundation and Access Founder, Mr. Eddie Atitiye from South Africa. We will share more about the vision behind Access and what we can expect from this year's edition.
Thank you. Good morning, and thank you all for being here. I think I'd like to just start a little bit from what we are as the Music in Africa Foundation. I think that's very important. So we are essentially an African entity that is committed to making a positive change in Africa through music. Having said that, I also want to emphasize something that I always say, and that is music is a business. Music is a business, music can change people's lives. Music, the creative industry, employs a lot of young people. But these young people need guidance, they need support, they need access to markets, access to finances, access to knowledge, access to protection so that their works can, feed their families. So we created the Music in Africa Foundation. It was actually launched in Kenya in 2013. And this is a network of all kinds of music professionals from across the continent. And we came together and we said we have to make a plan for the continent. So we created this entity that is doing not only access, we are doing many other projects and initiatives. For example, projects that fund young artists to travel across our continent. We fund organizations to realize projects in the music industry. We educate, we are doing all kinds of workshops and developmental projects. We are also very much focused on changing copyright, a culture towards the right use and protection of copyright. Africa loses billions of US dollars every year because we are not collecting, we are not protecting our artists. We are also pushing a strong agenda on gender equality. And actually the exciting thing is that access, as you'll see, is actually implemented, the stage, the technicals are done by a team of young girls from across the continent. Let's get into access. So what we believe at the Music in Africa Foundation is that in order for anyone to make it in music, they have to take music as a business. That's very important. That means our young people, our legends working in the industry, they need to take the industry seriously as a business, looking at how they protect their works, how they distribute, how they get the money to be able to do new projects and all those kind of things. So we created this amazing event that travels to a different African city every year. So it's coming to Rwanda in 2024, and we hope that it comes back again, but the reality is that there is no guarantee because we are trying to make sure we spotlight a different African city every year. We have been to Dakar, Senegal, we've been to Nairobi, Kenya, Johannesburg, and for the past 2 years we're in Dar es Salaam. So that gives us a little hope that we might stay for 2 years here, which is what we are all hoping for. This event is specially curated to offer what we believe are the right bridging points for all kinds of people involved in the music industry. If you are a young musician coming to Access, rest assured you're going to meet the most important people that all of us, I am a trained musician, and growing up, I always wanted to have access to record labels, distributors, publishing, to understand how do I put my music online, how do I protect it, how do I earn money. Now Access is the vehicle for you to access those people. As the word says, we bring all kinds of experts from all of our 45 countries. They will be here, and already we've got a website where you can go and see some of these people. You can already send them messages. So it's an opportunity for artists to pitch themselves, for artists to present themselves, for businesses to meet other businesses. And we were talking yesterday with our colleagues and saying, it's very expensive nowadays to travel in Africa. So when you see people coming to a country like Rwanda, it's because they really want to do business in Rwanda. So what we are saying is to the local ecosystem, even people doing sound, photographers, media people, DJs, you will certainly find the right people that can make a difference, who are willing to work with you. But I think beyond that, this is also an opportunity for us as Africans to really celebrate the spirit of Pan-Africanism, to celebrate our music as Africans. That's why we are putting together a strong lineup of over 20 artists from over 10 countries coming here and spending some time, not only going on stage, but also visiting local spaces, local studios, collaborating, creating content. We've got training programs like master classes, teaching young people how to do certain things in the music industry. So access, I always say, I never understood why my uncle used to go to golf every Saturday. Everyone said he wastes a lot of money on golf. It's a very important sport. And he said, you have to go on the field because that's where the deals are made. Access, in my view, this is the golf field for the music industry. If you're not coming to Access, you are not going to meet the people. And I want to emphasize, it's a free event for all Africans. So all you have to do is to go and register because our seats are running out. And this is what we are saying to the industry here. Yesterday we were looking on the numbers and we already have over 600 people from outside Rwanda saying they want to come. Now we are hoping that the community of Rwandan artists will help us to prove a point that there is vibrance in Rwanda, that there is openness to do music business in Rwanda, so that we see more record companies coming out of Rwanda, we see young entrepreneurs connecting with other parts of Africa, and we really start to take advantage of the advantage that Rwanda has, which is like in my view, one of the best places one can be in Africa. Now we need to take advantage of that and add music to that and see our young artists going to other countries. There are so many festivals that are looking for African talent, and I'm always wondering why I never see a Rwandan artist on those stages. And the reality is because we are not connected enough. We have so much talent here, and Access, we want to prove a point in the next 5 years that we want to see these local artists touring across Africa.
Yes.
We want Rwanda to be sitting next to Tanzania, Kenya, South Africa, musically, culturally, because that is very important. And that's why we are here in Rwanda, and that's why we're so thankful to your office, and so thankful to our partners, Kiss FM, individuals who are seeing the vision and saying, I want to be there. I want to make sure my network is aware of Access. And I invite you, please, to see this vision. It is not a profit-making initiative. We are truly coming here to educate. And we can only educate ourselves if all of us participate. So I thank you so much, Murakoze, and please feel welcome to ask any questions.
Thank you, Eddie, for this wonderful insight. It's great that you just kind of line up the last words of what the minister said about our industry and empowering the youth. And the Music in Africa Foundation coming here in Rwanda is just giving all the tools and all the people and all the network and opportunities to have a joint vision. We cannot talk about the music in Rwanda without talking to the veterans, to the players. This panel would not be complete without someone who has been both on the stage and behind the scene, contributing significantly to the industry, Mr. Austin Luwano, also known as Uncle Austin. We would love to hear from your perspective on this event and its significance for the Rwandan music industry. Welcome, Uncle Austin.
Thank you so much for having me. Murakoze Cyane, Honorable Minister. To take us a little back, you'll excuse me, but I'm going to go a little back and take you through the history of our Rwandan industry, the music industry. When I was 15, I got onto radio. 15 years. It was all about my talent. It wasn't about the education. I went for my mass media I've been on radio for 3 years. Way back in 2005 or 6, Miss Jojo used to listen to me on radio. The biggest first female artist when it comes to the urban music of the Rwandan industry. So she sent me her first song. I remember playing it on Flash FM the very first time. I remember artists like the KGBs and the Rafikis starting out. I was an artist because I started singing in the school choir when I was 8 or 9, but because I couldn't find producers in the country that did the kind of music I used to do, I was like, I would start by promoting other artists. So it's been 20 plus years. I'm not even 40 yet, but I have an experience of 20 plus years in the industry. Now, the reason why I mentioned that is, imagine if we had the exposure imagine if we had the chance of the connections that we're getting today. That's where I would actually like to thank the government, our Minister. We thank you so much, because all of these things are happening now because of you. If we had the exposure, it means if we had projects and people like access, it means the songs that we did 15 years ago, most of these guys know that we never even knew about digital platforms. We could do songs. I had like 10 songs that had over 1 million views on YouTube, but they were all uploaded by somebody else. It was Nyarwanda.com, but then Africa, something like that. Yeah. Now imagine if we had an idea of that then. Almost not just unhosted, but all artists lost those songs. Actually, some don't even have any data of the music, copies of the music. But if we had access then, if we had the exposure then, I always mention it very many times that we do have a lot of talent in the country. Talented artists, talented producers, working with the minimum of equipment, the minimum of resources, but then we actually manage to export names out of the country. We do have the band, we have Bruce Melody, we have Medi, we have Cyane and ntera that have actually performed all over Africa. Now imagine if we had these platforms and the connections to align us with the Davidos. When Trace was happening in Rwanda, I asked them, and it's like, I would be happy if a Rwandan artist is in a category with Davido, not just the Rwandan category, because we're hosting the event. We are not going together if we don't have access, if we do not have the partners. So the reason why I went a little back there was to show you how thankful we are that we are now here. And the artists are actually going to get a chance of getting the exposure, getting the connections, meeting the right people at the right time for their art to be exposed, to be put out there, so that in the next 5 years, we'll be having artists fighting for Grammy Awards. You know, tussling out on every single platform across Africa. Not only have Tanzania and Uganda or Nigeria going for the BET Awards. So with these kind of platforms, with the kind of exposure, I strongly believe that we will actually be there. And I would like to thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tim. Thank you for this insight. You know, it was very important to have representative of the music scene over here. So when we talk about music and when we talk about the music business, we also have the voice of the people who are doing it. So they can see the talent is here, the business is missing. This is what we try to do over here. The business can only thrive in an environment that is conducive to conduct business. So this is why I'm going to come back to you, Minister Sandrine. Minister, could you share your thought on how Access 2024 align with the government vision to empower youth and fostering the creative economy? When we talk about the creative economy, we're talking about all the system, all the laws, and all the policies that can be conducive for the talent to be able to make business.
Thank you. I believe many of these points actually were addressed by Eddie when he spoke about the business behind the music. So once again, for the government of Rwanda, and here let me take a moment to also acknowledge the Rwanda Convention Bureau, because if it wasn't for the Rwanda Convention Bureau, we wouldn't be as well sitting here talking about the different conferences we are now attracting to Rwanda, including Access. So it is definitely concerted effort across government institutions to see the value in the different activities happening all around the continent and acknowledging the one that deserve to come to Rwanda, that our young people, our more established people in the creative economy can also have access to. So back to the policy part, it is also important to acknowledge that Rwanda has a strong IP, intellectual property law. The most recent version of it was actually updated as of this past July of this year, which means that we take very seriously the protection of IP for all of our artists. And this is important for us to say this because we believe that artists or authors in general are entitled to protecting the work that they put out there in the community. And here, if I make an appeal to the media, we also call on the media to help us protect the IP of our artists, meaning that there needs to be some kind of understanding that if you're going to be playing music on your platforms, you need to pay for those products that you have access to. And of course, we have many examples from all around the continent, all around the world, that talks about how we can sustainably establish a revenue collection system to make sure that artists do not think that the only way for them to be played on radio if it's free, or to be played on TV, or to be played in a hotel, in conferences all around the country. So the legal framework to sustain the business of this music industry, or the business of the creative economy, is very important. That's the number one thing. The other element that I also want to highlight is in terms of this type of platforms that we are putting together, how do we make sure that we have the right stakeholders in it? Yes, we need the talent, we need the cultural managers to also be present and know how to negotiate contracts for the artists, meaning that we are also making an appeal to the cultural managers in our communities to treat the artists not just as a product or something that will make them become richer, but actually see our artists, our authors as able to move and shift conscience on the continent, to have actually an impact in the way people's mindset can be more positive, can be open to the rest of the world, and again, create the right type of partnership with different platforms or institutions so the artists can truly grow. And the other element that I wanted to highlight as well in terms of building the ecosystem of our creative economy is to make sure that we also have the backbone of it. And the backbone is made by, again, the media that understand that things should not be free. We're talking about lawyers who also take an interest in the laws behind the creative economy. And I believe right now in Rwanda, we could use more lawyers who are trained or who understand exactly how the creative economy needs to be protected so it can truly grow at the same level as any other industry in this country. I was talking about earlier the IP that recently passed in Rwanda in July. So this IP is actually part of a bigger body of laws that talk about the pharmaceutical industry, that talk to business people who come up with patents. So we really treat the creative economy as one major part of all these different industries that deserve to have intellectual property protected for the sustainability of our economy. I hope I answered your question.
No, you answered magnificently. But that brings us to the next question. I think that Eddie, you kind of covered it a little bit. But with the remark of Honorable Minister Sandrine, she mentioned that IP part, intellectual property, Access also has put a very big focus on making sure that they are aligned with the 21st century, the advancement of technology, and how things have shifted in the way we distribute music, the way we're collecting money. It has to do a lot with technology. So can you tell us a little bit more about what is going on behind the scene and the system and the type of companies are coming to Access in terms of distribution and technology and how all those things are merged together?
Yes, firstly I'm proud to announce that Access will be the first event of this kind that will be a copyright-friendly event. That's a big movement that actually is being pushed by our partners at CSAC. So CSAC is the federation of all organizations that collect monies and protect the music rights.
Maybe we can mention that Rwanda has its own CMO called Rwandan Society of Authors, RSIU.
Yes, so we are also working with all those people, but there is a very deliberate move by us to say we want to all local players to understand that music is not for free. And we also want to help those organizations that are collecting the royalties to also connect with the musicians so they understand the issues of the musicians. Then they also educate the musicians to understand what the role of a musician is. Because again, this is the challenge. in most cases, musicians also don't play their part. When you create a new song, when you create a product, that's why we say it's a business, there are certain things that you have to do, not only in Rwanda, you have to do also internationally to make sure that you're protecting your music. So we've got a whole list of sessions and master classes that artists can say, I want to be part of that, because I'm going to be taught how do you get an ISRC code, how do you put your music on Spotify, but it doesn't only end there. How do you collect from as far as South Africa? So what we have is each country has got what are known as collecting societies, and you just mentioned
Copyright Management Organization, CMO.
Right. So we are bringing to Rwanda about 10 of those, including the biggest in Africa, which is Samro, the South African one. Capasso from South Africa. We've got other international players. They're actually going to have a forum here where they're just discussing together with the local counterparts to say, how do we move forward? How do we learn from each other? So it's a very deliberate move for us as Access to say the time is now for music to really pay the artist. I studied music myself, and I did the first 3 years of my study. I lied to my parents that I was studying something else, because there is this notion that music is not a serious career. And in class, my colleagues would laugh at me. But I say this with pride. Look at me now. I mean, I am so proud that we are showing that there is money in music. I mean, I come from South Africa where you've got young kids who are building houses for their families, who are buying cars. Music is finally at the level where people can see money from music. But it's not happening everywhere yet. And we have to be very open to that, because we are a continent that's developing. What we now need to do is to push each other, to learn from each other. And I think artists really need to start looking at how can I make more money? Because there is much more money that is not only in your country. You can meet other people that can open doors outside. There are companies looking for licensing music for film, for library music, for adverts and all those kind of things. And sometimes artists just think you have to make it to radio. So at Access, we are showing all these channels. We've got an exhibition program where we're going to have a lot of companies that are going just to be sharing, all this kind of important information. So that's just one part, and there is much more that we can share.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. You mentioned one word, Mr. Eddy. You said.
I just have one comment
Please.
about the copyright friendly, and I just want to highlight that this is the second event this year that is copyright friendly. Actually, with the support of CISAC, we ensured that the Triennale de Kigali, which is organized in partnership with the city of Kigali, was copyright friendly because it covered so many different categories of art. We had to make sure, exactly. So it's very good to see that in 1 year we're able to secure 2 events that understand the importance of copyrights. Thank you for doing that.
But we were talking about those very important things. I'd like to have the word from Mr. Austin Luwano. As an artist, somebody who has experienced the evolution of the music industry in Rwanda, Eddy said musician has to play their part. Please, can you elaborate on that? The responsibilities and the work of the artist beyond creating beautiful music. What is it that you have understood in your longer years in the music industry about what Rwandan artists have to do to play their part?
I think. Hello. I think one thing to start with is that we are actually starting to get there, but artists need to understand and to learn that it's not a one-man army to be an artist. Most of the times, all of us, we've been a one-man army. Whereby all we know is that I go create, put it on video, do a music video, put it on TV, and upload it on YouTube, put it on the digital platforms, and that's that. But an artist, for you to achieve, if you listen very well to Eddy, you understand that it's not just you. For you to make money out of music, for an artist, to understand that I'm not going to only be making the music and then wait for performances for me to earn a living. Means I'm going to create and now get a whole team. In your team, that's why you need a lawyer. You need people who understand these things technically, so that you can also get time to create more, not to be running after every single thing. Because you need to make money. And making money as an artist in Rwanda for now, we've only been waiting for performances. Which means you do not actually get more time to create more. But if you sit down and you know the little platforms are making you money, after getting vast, as in well-versed lessons in the business side of the music industry, it helps you understand that your only job as an artist will be to create, and now your team will actually have to work for you and work with you to make sure that you are only not going to do a song, and now in 5 years, even if they're playing it somewhere, you do not even know. He mentioned something that is not only going to be about the intellectual property law in Rwanda, but then they will actually help you to understand that your song is playing in Brazil, so it will be monetized there. So with these lessons, we'll actually learn and understand to know who to work with and when to actually need somebody to work with. Not just to feel like we only want to be played on radio and that's it.
Oh, thank you, Austin. Thank you for these words. You said something very interesting about having a team. The thing I would like to say, because I'm coming from the music industry also, is like, if you want to have a team and generate loyalty amongst your team so they can work for you, you need to understand that you need to have certain value that you can pay those people if you want them to do the good work. So there's a big responsibility as an artist to understand himself as an entrepreneur, as a MD, managing director. You are the product and you managing your team. Being associated and bringing your team all around you that doesn't carry you further, you need to be able to identify it because you are in charge. On those quiet words, thank you for the panel, for all your questions and all your insights. But now I'm going to open the floor to the journalists. If you have any type of question, we're going to run question maybe for 15 minutes. So if you have a question like this, mention your name, the media you are coming from, and then you can address the question at one of the panelists here.
Thank you so much. I am called, let me stand up, I'm called MC Tino Babatov. I work with Get Radio. I've been asking questions for a long time, so I don't have questions, but I have 3 points to make on this session that we've been having. Thank you, Honorable Minister, and the organizers, Access Music Africa. This is good for Rwanda, but first of all, we also need a workshop to big companies, like in Rwanda, these big companies having known music is a business. When you go to these big companies, they say, tell them, I'm an artist, they just look at you like, yeah, what do you want us to do for you? So I think you should also organize and teach them. Like we've seen Nigeria, you mentioned Tanzania, big companies, support the artists, so we don't have more artists endorsing these companies. And let's talk about, the Ben and Bruce Lee, a few of them have, but we have big talents that can be also make money from those big companies. But they also don't know that they can make money out of me, like advertising for them, so we should organize that so that we can also make a little bit of money. And I think in Rwanda, thanks for Access Africa, but we still do music for fun, bro. We're not professional yet, we do music for fun. So that I will release a song, I tell you stuff, Anita is my friend, she's gonna play my song, that's okay. Hey, my song's playing at Kiss FM, oh wow, hey, it will visit you, and so, yeah, we've had, what are you gaining? We're still on the same level. And that is work for 4 or 5 years, but it's still on the same level, When you said music is a business, I think we need a proper workshop for 1 week, educate them. Let them come in business, like they don't have the 4 P's. The price, product, place, and promotion. Your product is music. Good. Do good music, as he said. Then, good music. The place is Rwanda. If I can, satisfy my country, then what am I going to do to export my music? Promotion-wise, artists, we don't have a budget for promotion, bro. You know, artists like Diamond, they have a promotion budget. I come to radio, have this 1 million for this year to promote my album. But when the album comes out, it's, you know, fashion, churanga, how long will I be there? You know? So, what if you don't have friends that work on radio? You understand? So, artists also need to know that it is music business. I need to do my music. If I can pay an audio 500,000, a video 1 million, what do you expect? Free promotion. You need to put a budget on the side. This is
we can speak on that just for the interest of time. If you have like a specific question, but just to address what you said, Access is not the first time in November they're going to be there. In terms of workshop and preparation, we've always been working in partnership with Music in Africa and the Ministry to set up some sessions. Some of those one-man artists you're going to see on stage, they've been going through a workshop that we organized so to prepare them to be able to apply.
Yeah.
And we're preparing also some pre-workshop session before the event to gather musicians. We're going to have like 2 sessions of preparation. So we can speak more on that. You know, I invite you to come and see me a little bit later on. But if you have like a specific question, so we can go around the room.
As I said, I've asked you to, I don't have questions. But let me get back to labels, you know. Every artist would like to be under a certain music label because labels have money, they have a lot of things, you know. So we have seen labels coming on and go. Just 1 year, 2 years. You know, label comes like the men. You know, the late body, you know, rest in peace, Marina, Safi, and the likes, you know. So labels come in Rwanda thinking to make money out of that before investing in them. You know, if you bring a label in Rwanda, doctors, you know, we're going to give you this for 2 years, we invest in you. After 3 years, we're going to get back what we invested in. But labels come, and you know, they just exploit our musicians. When you cut, you know, like we cut ties with them, they limit you, they call media houses, don't play his music, and they're fun. Unless we put all our things together as one, and we shall move forward, you know. Yeah, but still, if I leave a label and they still run after what I do, yeah, they even pay media houses not to play my songs because I left your label, you know. I left your label because I'm not seeing any vision in your label. Yeah, we've seen artists, when they leave labels, they are gone for good. So I think Artists Rwanda, in those workshops, you also need to talk about that. Invite label, you know, CEOs, tell them the truth. Thank you so much.
Trust me. We're looking into that. Very. Some other question here. Mention your name, the media house, and who the question is addressed to. Is there, before you go, is there anybody else who want to make a statement rather than ask question? So we're only gonna have question right now, right? Okay, good. Please.
Thank you. My name is Dairo. I'm working from Ishisho. I'm a content creator and a TV presenter. I would like to start by thanking you guys for doing this. This is amazing because we've been waiting for this for so long. Our country is giving opportunities, and this is one of the opportunities that we're still receiving. And I will assure that we will gain a lot of stuff from Rwanda because we never regret working in this country, different country. You're welcome. And I would like to start by saying our music growth is developing. As you see, music is growing. You see some nominations at MTV, EMA, Europe, Damo, Ashake, Taylor are being mentioned there. And I would like to ask you, what do you guys see in the music? What do you see in the music that makes you keep pushing, promoting the music? I'm talking about African music. And my second question was like this. I know you guys need to promote, you need to gain loyalties, to help artists to survive through their arts and intellectual property, which is good, but there's another thing that you're not looking at, which is a promotion. And I think we have TVs, radios all over Africa. What do you think about creating contents on the TVs? It's maybe a playlist which is contained East African music, maybe African music. And I think this will help not only artists, because if you talk about artists, but also journalists around there, because we push their work. So if you are thinking about this project, we'll be also helping you guys to gain, because if an artist releases a song, he needs a promotion so that he can reach people, so that you can gain encouragement from that. If you're thinking about that, you can tell us if there's a new content based on music, on TVs and stuff. Thank you so much. That was it.
Thank you. It's gonna come after. Wait. How do we proceed? Do we take questions? a series of questions and then we answer them, or do we go one by one? A series of questions? Okay, so we're gonna take like a one and another, please. Okay, another after her, another two questions, so be prepared, please. Your name and the media and who you address your question to.
My name is from Rwanda Broadcasting Agency, RBA, and I would like to ask my question in Kinyarwanda, and it goes to the Ministry of Health. Twashaka kubabaza kuko sosiyete nyinshi dusavinga n'abanyarwanda kose nabo bakeneye kumenya amakuru. Twashaka kubabaza abanyarwanda bazungukira gute muri iki gikorwa uko mwabiteguye na Minisiteri mufatanye n'abateguye igikorwa. Of course ni twavuga ko ari amahirwe yagutse ku banyarwanda bazungukira gute muri iki gikorwa. Hanyuma hajya kubaho selection y'abahanzi cyangwa se mujya guhitamo abahanzi mwagendeye kuki kuko twibaza ko byanyuze mu bufatanye. Hanyuma n'icyo musaba abagiye guhagararira igihugu muri aka kanya. Ikibazo cya kabiri turakibaza Augustin, abanyarwanda tubitegeho iki nk'abantu mugiye guhagararira abandi bahanzi. Nakoze.
Is there another question? Okay. Please.
No, there is no. No. She asked it on my behalf. No, she asked it on my question. She asked it. Yes.
Well, yes. Maybe I can just take advantage of this space and answer the question. So, just to say regarding workshops and just to respond to your statements, which also are very important. I think the music is a business, and everyone has got their interests, and we want artists to be able to make informed decisions. We don't necessarily believe that record labels are the beginning and the end of the industry. I think you know that there is a big DIY industry. In fact, they say that record labels are starting to lose out the battle against the DIY artists who are doing it themselves. So we want local artists to have a stronger bargaining power. What does that mean? That means we're not only talking about discussing with record labels. Governments, I've seen that governments in Africa, they want to support the music industry. But also we need as an industry to give them numbers. We need to show them the statistics. We need to prove ourselves. The same goes with financial institutions. It's not that they don't want to give us money, but it's business. They want to secure their investments in us. So we are hoping that a more developed industry gives artists a stronger voice. To the extent where you can say, I don't want this rocketing deal because I can make the same money myself, right? But so what is very important is we need to empower the artists. The artists, there is no more time for the artists to be complacent. You will get exploited, even by your family members. A lot of artists are managed by their brothers. We don't have music managers on the continent. Because when we blow up, we get someone that we know to say, please manage me. But there is copyright law, there are mechanical royalties, there are neighboring rights, there are all these kind of things that artists now need to wake up. We get in studio as artists, there's a thing called a split sheet. It's a very simple thing, but that thing can determine your future if you don't sign on it. So a lot of artists don't even know about this thing. There is a thing called just notifying your song when you've done it. Just to say, I've done this song, it's called ABCD, and I'm the owner of this song. A lot of artists miss those simple things. And so when we come to Access, we curate it. And now if you go on the website now, you'll see a series of workshops that you can already say, I want to be there, and it's all free. Then you asked about content and all those things. We are very open. Actually, Music in Africa, we run a website called musicinafrica.net. That is the biggest information portal for African music. And we are very, very, very open to engage. So please, let's talk afterwards and see what we can do. I think there's a lot of value in music, as you say. What do we see in music that we want to push? Our belief is just that music makes money. Whether it's good music, whether we can, it's a very opinionated space. Very, people might think this is great music, or this is bad music. But as long as it's consumed, you must make money out of it, and that's where it starts for us. We are not there also to judge, to say this country has got great music, because all we know is as Africans, music is the beginning for us. When we are sad, we sing music. when there is a death in the family, we sing.